Customer states getting negative miles per gallon. So let's see where the fuel leak is on this bad Chad. We'll cycle the key over and turn on that lift pump. Hopefully the fuel leak's on that side of the pressure system. And there we go. Crystal Geyser or diesel just pouring right out of there. Yeah, no wonder he gets negative miles per gallon. That's definitely the issue. So let's get this apart, get this fuel line repaired. So first thing to tear apart is this intake piece. I don't know what you'd even call it, maybe a T, but both sides boost hoses, and then the one that goes from the turbo right there. You're gonna undo a couple connectors. Not very complicated, just a couple of things. This is like a grid heater or post heater. I don't know. I don't know diesels very well. There's two other pipe fittings on the other end, so that's what those two hose clamps are. Now you're gonna want to wrap this thing up. This is the hot lead to that post, that heater post thing. So if you don't, that thing's definitely going to arc, spark, and probably sit you in a lawn chair real quick. So other than that, get it all wrapped up and out of the way, and then you can pull this whole spider T looking housing thing out of there. It's kind of a pain to get out because both of those fitting things is just extremely tight. You're trying to undo 5 spots at one time, but it's not bad if you just kind of work with it. It does have a couple little vacuum lines that run to it, so once you get those off of there, here's a better representation of what this thing looks like. So there's 2 ports on the bottom, 2 on the sides, and then one goes to the turbo. So the fuel line that's on the passenger side starts at the fuel bowl, the furthest forward fitting, and then that's the hold down clamp. And then there's one fitting at the back of the firewall. It's at the back of the head. I couldn't get good footage of it, but once you get both ends of that undone, then just snake it out of there, and as you can see, that hard line just wore right through that line. So weasel your new line in there. Gotta go underneath that turbo pedestal, which is kind of a pain in the butt. But if you don't undo the batteries, pay very much attention to the 32 hot solenoids that are right next to that line that you're trying to snake in there. Now that is a quick way to arc and spark yourself and sit you down in a lawn chair like Home Alone. So pay attention when you're sneaking it in there and do your due diligence and make sure you don't touch nothing. Then start that front fitting and then start the back fitting, and don't tighten them down all the way. Then put your lockdown tab there, or your hold down tab, and then afterwards tighten them the rest of the way down once you have all 3 all started. That's the easiest way that I've known to do it. So I'm going to put these hose clamps on here and kind of line them up just a little bit, put them up a higher so that they don't fall down. And then my camera died, but it's a pain in the butt to try and slide it over. If you put the right side down first on the bottom tube and then work it left, it seems like it was a little bit easier for the bottom two. But once the bottom 2 are in, it goes relatively easy. Then just retighten all your hose clamps, put them all back on there, and make sure everything's nice and snug. These diesels only make 40 pounds of boost or so everything needs to be nice and tight. Once those are tight, you'll do your couple connectors, your post heater, and then a couple of vacuum lines, and then you're good to go. And that's pretty much it. Cycle your key on, that way you don't see any fuel leaks anymore, and then there you go. It's kind of a bad economy to have a fuel leak when diesel is about $6 a gallon. But we got them right. Get it on out of here and on to the next one. Hit that bell and be sure to subscribe for more.